Maryland. We did see cases throughout the country, things like in New Mexico and places where heavy Latino populations exist, where they were getting phone calls, robocalls saying, if you have immigration issues or know somebody who does, if you show up to vote, you kind of will be arrested. Or if you have child, or the African American communities, if you have child support issues, or you owe back payments or parking tickets, you can and will be arrested when you come to vote. We need to make sure that voters are educated. Voters are educated on the referendum that are going to be on the ballot this year. There's going to be 4 referendum. We're not used to that. This is the first time in 20 years we've had referendums on the ballot. And so we need to make sure that people are educated as to what they need to get to vote, but also what they're actually voting on. So I applaud Congressman Cummings for doing this today with the Republican and then the Democratic conventions coming. The election season is upon us, and we need to make sure that we're vigilant in educating folks on their rights.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I want to thank Vernon Jones, Senator Jones, for thank you for joining us. The NAACP is one of the many organizations leading the charge against suppressive voter ID laws. Joining us now is the NAACP's National Training Director, Ms. Jessica Pierce. Ms. Pierce.
Thank you, everyone, for coming here. Thank you, Congressman Cummings, for having me speak as a part of this. This is a really big year for us at NAACP, and I know it is for everyone in this room and for all the other organizations that are out there doing voting-related work. You know, just between 2011 and 2012, we know that there were 180 voting rights repressive bills that were introduced in 41 states. I think a lot of times people think that it was in 5 states or in 10 states, but it was in 41 states and it was passed in 15 states. And this is, you know, ranging from voter ID issues, which we talked about. You know, this is talking about, you know, in states like Texas where laws were passed where you could vote with an expired gun license, but you can vote with a student ID. You know, this is also talking about repealing early voting, though. You know, and when we talk about the African American and Black community, we know that we're one of the highest populations that actually comes out early to vote. So specifically, like in the state of Florida, where they looked to cut it, so that they were specifically cutting a Sunday out. And we know that a lot of people come out after church and they would like to vote on Sunday and they vote together. You know, and even now, what we're dealing with now is we're still fighting on many levels. In Florida, we did recently have a small victory where in 5 counties they were able to repeal that, and so that the early voting will stand the way it's standed in the past. But that's only in 5 counties. So we're actually dealing right now where people are like thinking it's across the state and it's really only in 5 key counties. So the battle is happening on a lot of levels, and what we're doing is we're really making sure that people are registering to vote. We have a massive registration program that's happening right now. We have the only toll-free phone registration line that you can use. People can call from any phone. They can call 866-MY-VOTE1, and if you call that, you can actually register to vote over the phone. You can also register to vote online. On our website, we have that available. You can also register to vote with our folks that are in the field in literally every state across this country. We have a massive voter registration program. I know I saw someone come in from the Baltimore branch.
Just the president of our
and it's happening.
We're number 1 in Maryland.
Right.
Voter registration.
And she comes into the office and, you know, hands me voter registration cards all the time just to make sure that they're counted. So, you know, I know the registration efforts are happening across the country. I know that our folks are out there working on the ground, that they're looking to partner with people, they're looking to partner with elected officials, they're looking to partner with other organizations and individuals that are on the ground. And we're also focusing on the ID issue as well. You know, we're in Pennsylvania making sure that people do have IDs, because part of the problem right now is that we're talking about registration and we're going to get to the registration deadline and we're going to get towards November 6th and people aren't going to realize that it's not just enough to just register. They have to know what the new ID requirements are. They have to know where their polling place is. This is on every single front, every single way, and that's why we run a comprehensive program from registration to education to get out the vote to voter protection. We're in every single phase of this process, every step along the way, making sure that every single person actually does come out to vote, because when we look back in 2008, we know that the biggest population that came out to vote, even though sometimes the narrative said it was soccer moms and NASCAR dads, it was Black women at the end of the day that came out at the highest level to vote in 2008, and this is a specific attack on our communities. And for us to not step up and actually do something, for us to step back It's just not going to happen in this election. And so as a black woman myself working on this program, that's why I do this, because I came out to vote in 2008, because I know we're going to come out to vote in the same levels, maybe more so in some places than we did in 2008. And I'm committed to doing that work, and I know the NAACP is committed to do that work as well. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. We mentioned Tessa Hill. Tessa, thank you. The head of our Baltimore branch of the NAACP. Thank you very much for being with us. I also wanted to thank, there's so many ministers. I didn't know we were going to have all these wonderful ministers. And as the son of two preachers, I'd be more than remiss if I did not thank all of you for being here. I certainly appreciate it. We also now have, you know, one of the things that happened in at least one or two states is the laws were so repressive that they stopped the League of Women Voters from even registering voters, because they were being intimidated with and threatened that they might do something criminal in trying to do something that they've done tens of years and hundreds of years, I mean over 100 years I guess, but a long time. And but it just goes to show you, how vicious this is. I mean, you cannot get a more independent group than the League of Women Voters. And we're very glad today to have the president of the Baltimore City League of Women Voters with us, Ms. Lois.
Thank you, Congressman Cummings, for organizing this, and to everybody who's come to support it. And as he said, as an organization, we're nonpartisan. We don't support candidates or political parties. But since our organization was founded in 1920, after women won the right to vote, we've sort of had a dual role. And one has been our voter education, voter service work, to provide information about candidates and issues through our voters' guides and forums, about and to emphasize the importance of citizen participation and voting. And our other role has been to adopt issues for study and action. And the election process, including the flood of money in elections, disclosure, requiring government issues IDs, and laws that make it difficult to register voters, have been a priority of our national organizations. Many of our state affiliates have filed amicus briefs in support of lawsuits against such practices. And in Maryland, our league representatives have been vigilant in testifying against such legislation and for measures that make the process more accessible. But back to our Baltimore City voter service action to inform people. We want everyone to know that in addition to our traditional print voters guides available in mid-October in libraries and senior centers, and as a PDF on our website, we have that same information is available on the internet at vote411.org, and this is the site. You go to this website, you enter your address, and you see links to information from the Board of Elections and to the choices that will be on the ballot in your district. And this information will be complete about September 19th. And you can see how and whether candidates have answered questions from the league, and also links to the candidate websites for further information. There'll also be information about the many state referenda and amendments, as well as the Baltimore City Charter amendments and bond issues. And I wanted to mention two other national tools that the league is promoting. One is FlackCheck, that's a website called flackcheck.org. And at this website, you can go to that and you can see an analysis of the campaign ads that have been put out there. And it's very interesting sometimes to see how they've distorted information. And I urge people to check that website occasionally and check on what these candidates are saying. And then there's also a continuing factcheck.org, which you can check the truth of many of the statements that you hear candidates make in speeches in commercials. And so I just urge everybody to please get educated and try to find out the truth, not just listen to the campaign commercials. And as usual, voter registration activities are an important part of our work. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we're helping new citizens complete voter registration applications just before their naturalization ceremonies at the Fallon Federal Building. We even stamp the forms so they're ready to mail as soon as they've been sworn in. And we've been giving out 75 to 100 applications each day that we do this. And it's really rewarding because they're really appreciative and so eager to have the opportunity to vote. And of course, we're also responding to requests for registration tables at neighborhood fairs and other community events. We'll be at the Book Fest on September 28th to 30th, and we're working with community colleges to arrange registration events for students. And I also wanted to announce that we're planning 2 issue forums for the public. Our forum on marriage equality and the DREAM Act will be at Morgan State University on 7 to 9 p.m. And then the city charter amendment on the change to the Baltimore city election cycle will be Thursday, October 25th at 7 to 9 p.m. at the Central Library. And finally, I just want to urge everyone to vote. So many people sacrificed and fought for too long to get this right for us to ignore the responsibility. I can understand the disillusionment when people are suffering, and it seems that not enough changes for the better when we do vote. However, there are differences between candidates and parties and their records and their approach to protecting the environment, job creation, health care, reproductive rights, the approach to the budget, investment in public education. We could lose important rights, and we have many important state and local issues. However, we have to vote with open eyes and realize that our job is not done on Election Day. We'll still have to lobby, demonstrate, and organize after the election for the causes that we believe in.
Thank you very much.
Oh, here's I have these cards for Vote 4112.
We now have our
Oh, thank you.
Baltimore City Board of Elections Director, who's always done just an outstanding job. I've worked with him quite a bit, and I've always found him to be fair and just a man who tried to make sure that everyone's vote was counted and everybody got a chance to vote. Mr. Director Armstead Jones, Sr.
I want to thank Congressman Cummings for the opportunity to come and talk about something that's important to me. After 32 years in education, I felt it was time to move to something that I loved a little more, and that was to educate the citizens of Baltimore about voting, the importance to vote, as well as reaching out during community events, festivals, and registering people to vote. As we approach this election, the Baltimore City Board of Elections is preparing. We are ready to this point. We will be ready for our early voting, which starts on November the 27th and goes October 27th and goes through November the 1st. And of course, we will be open from 10 to 8.